Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. I'm back home from my trip. I'm tired. I caught a cat nap on the floor of the Portland airport last night, waiting for my 5 a.m. flight. So I'm going to share some video footage with you today and make an early night of it. And just so I mentioned specifically, in case this ages well, today's date is Thursday, July 7th, 2022. Now more than ever, we have to be very careful about our wording and content on this platform. However, I know that I've got a very intelligent audience that reads between the lines really well when that's necessary. And sometimes we can speak fairly openly. And so I want to go down a rabbit trail tonight, and I want to take you with me, as I usually do. And we're going to look at A and B and see if that equals C according to the tarot cards. So hang on, and I'll start letting you know about this rabbit trail. Here's point A coming right up. Okay. The US space program has a project going called Project Thor. It's also been called the Rods from God. This is a YouTube video. There's numerous ones about it, but none of them are very long. So if you'd like to get a little bit up to speed about this space weapon, you're more than welcome to do so. Now, Back Channel News says that those have gone from theory to fact. And there's also some back channel talk that in Kentucky a few months ago, a van that had a lot of detonation material was actually taken out of commission by the Rods from God, or Project Thor. Now that's interesting because you would think, hang on, I'm going to show you number B here. There is an outer space treaty, a United Nations treaty. It was ratified in the 1960s, and it prohibits everybody that signed it from placing nuclear weapons or other weapons of mass destruction in orbit or on celestial bodies or station them in outer space. And it seems like it's a pretty comprehensive prohibition, except for one little thing. It speaks about weapons of mass destruction. And the Rods from God are a highly targeted energy beam. They're not a mass destruction element at all to them, but apparently they can be targeted with precision. And so, as we all know, one second, yesterday in Georgia, a monument suffered damage, and before the day was out, the entire monument was leveled. Now that struck me as odd, that there wasn't a crime scene investigation or that it was done so very quickly. That struck me as odd. And I have to say, I had no fondness for that monument and what it seemed to be advocating, and I do not mourn its loss, period. So what I wanted to ask the cards tonight, the monument that was leveled yesterday and suffered damage prior to the leveling, was the damage caused by natural sources or by a Project Thor? Let's see what the universe has to say. Now, it could have just been natural. It could have been something else. It could have been a ground level type of project. But I'm going to specifically ask the cards if it was natural, and if it wasn't, how the destruction came to be. I don't know that we're going to get a Rods from God type of answer, but we'll see what we do, because the universe is fascinating with the way it answers questions. And you believe that, or you wouldn't be watching this with me. So 1 second, let's watch the cards get shuffled, dealt, and then we'll talk about it. Our first card is the Three of Swords. Next card is the Seven of Swords. Then we have the Two of Swords. We have the Nine of Wands, Five of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, and Strength. Okay, we were asking if there was a connection. Well, first of all, if the destruction of that Georgia monument was natural or not. And I am getting that, no, it wasn't. The Three of Swords is our situation card. Now, the Three of Swords can talk about perseverance, not just disappointment, but perseverance. And we know that it's been a long struggle to go from covert opposition of the status quo and of evil and to more obvious actions. And evil's tricky and evil is sneaky, and those kind of epitomize what that monument was about, an agenda that wasn't loving and kind and beneficial to all. Okay, so a choice was made in the recent past, and this was one of the places that was chosen to have its energy dispersed, and the energy was extremely negative. I'm getting with these wands here that if you look at the Project Thor, those are 20-foot long projectile objects. And those wands in this card are very long. And so I'm getting that, and this is one of defeat, and it ultimately leveled that monument. Okay, so there's some disappointment for people that had that as their standard, okay, their goal. And the Wheel of Fortune is always changing, and we know we're going from dark to light. And this is just one of the steps in that process. And folks, the light has strength, unbelievable strength right now. We're going to be seeing more of these actions that even I was amazed. I mean, I have been putting up awake items for years on my Facebook page, which is just simply Laura Greenwood. And one of my friends for 20 years hadn't heard of this monument. So this destruction is a real red pill moment that has been of benefit. And I think there's going to be very few that mourn the destruction of that. Now let's see what else the cards have to tell us about that situation. Ace of Swords. Okay, so yes. And we want to be careful that we don't look so closely at these things here that we forget that there's something else going on too. This cup is in the background, so there's lots of activity going on in the background. Okay, now we're getting to the point where we're starting to see some in our face actions. And hallelujah, if you've been struggling with your red pill stamina, there should be a lot of things going on that help that stamina to stay the course. Queen of Pentacles, she's got a gift, and that gift, because Pentacles is about earthly things, we are working to change our world in wonderful ways. And the Fool, oh guys, it doesn't get much better than that. We're going out into new territory. Ace of Swords, I mean, yeah. So it wasn't a natural, but it was timely. It wasn't natural, but it was well chosen. And it's serving a numerous purposes to wake people up, to send a message. And I can't wait for more things to happen. That's it for this video. If you'd like to hang around for just a quick afterword, I'm going to speak for just a minute. But in the meantime, that's the end of this read. And thank you so much for being part of my project here. Thank you for being patient as I have to try to navigate tricky waters in how I phrase things. And I just appreciate every one of you that take time out of your day or evening and listen to me for a few minutes. So thank you. Now, the afterword. I'm going to do several videos. I mentioned that I just got home. I told you I'm tired. There's a lot going on, and I'm going to try to carefully broach several topics today. So this is the first one, because I want to keep to my menu of doing single topic tarot reads, so that you can tell from the title what the majority of what you'll be listening to is. So to that end, I just thought I'm just going to sit here and crank out several. So at least 2 more. All right. So there'll be more tonight. There'll be more. This one was a domestic one, or domestic for me. I'll do one that's not domestic, and I'll do one that's just something that our community needs to be aware of if we're not already, and I think most of us are. So thank you. Good night.